Mic check, check, check.
On my way.
Welcome to Knit Together with Kim and Jonna. I'm Kim, and Jonna isn't really here, as you can tell, in person. But I don't know if you remember, a few years ago, I was going to an event. Was it maybe Vogue Knitting Live, and Jonna couldn't be there, so I made a flat Jonna. So there she is. There's flat Jonna. I decided to bring her into the studio, so I have her presence and her essence here with me. So yeah, as we've mentioned somewhat recently, we're trying to produce more content, but it's difficult because we're in two different states. Right now she's still in Texas and here I am in New York, but next month she's heading to Vermont. So woo woo, I can't wait. I can't wait to have her back in the Northeast, closer to me, just a quick drive away. Believe me, I've been tempted to fly to Texas, and she just hasn't had time to fly here, but we definitely miss each other. So yeah, hopefully we'll be back together in the frame very soon. So this video today that I'm going to film for you is an answer to one of your requests. I think in episode 35, I don't even remember. They all kind of blend together. We had asked you what you do want to see in the future in content, because we are trying to produce more content. And you gave us so many amazing suggestions. And one of them was the old timers who watch were requesting an update on my list, my stash list of sweaters. If you don't know me, my stash, it's behind me. And by the way, it's all in Ziploc bags because somewhat late last year I had found clothing moths around. So I decided to store all my yarn in Ziploc bags just to protect against moths for now. So anyway, I also have moth traps and everything. I know they're really hard to get rid of. I haven't really noticed, in one sweater, I noticed moth damage. That's how I first noticed it. And I had just received some extra yarn to finish that sweater. Before I got that yarn, I had not seen a single moth in my house. And a month or two after I got that yarn and finished the sweater, I started seeing the moths. So that sweater and all of the extra yarn first went into the freezer, and then I just kept seeing moths. So anyway, that's the story about the Ziploc bags. I know it looks prettier without Ziploc bags, but safety first, right? Anyway, so way back in 2022, Jonna and I together had filmed an episode about asking the viewers to help me choose my next project, because my stash, this is what I was going to say, is almost all, not all, patterns matched with sweater quantities or project quantities of yarn. And I usually don't deviate from that. Like Jonna will buy yarn with a sweater or a project in mind, and she'll put it in her stash, but then it's totally fine. She has no problem rethinking it, deciding she doesn't want to knit that. She'll pull the yarn out for a different project, and that's great. I just don't do that. I literally fall in love with an object, a design, and I buy yarn to knit that design, and I typically don't change my mind. I don't know why, but maybe with some of these older ones I will. Anyway, so way back then, we filmed this video. I'll link it up here, whichever side of my head it'll be on, and you can go back and watch it. But I went through my list of complete sweater quantities of yarn matched to patterns then, and I asked the viewers to vote which one I should knit next, and we gave away prizes, and I promised I would knit them in order. And at first I did, I have to say, I did at first. I did also, a little disclaimer, I said, I'll knit them in order, but I may stick other projects in between, because you might not want to knit the next one right now. Something new and exciting and flashy and shiny might cross your path. So that has definitely happened. But viewers asked recently to know the update on that. So that's what this video is about. So this is kind of like a catching up with Kim, with a focus on my stash and that list. Anyway, what else do I want to say? Oh, just in case you hate all this chit chat, we do put timestamps in. So if you want to skip all this silliness, then you can do that. What else? We are getting ready to film episode 37 sooner, hopefully, than later. And I think that's it. Oh, also, 2 weeks from right now, I'll be in Italy for the mYak retreat. So I'm really, really excited about that. So I think that's basically it. Let me start with what I'm wearing so I don't forget. I am wearing my Triana cardigan. It was designed by Marina Storm. And if you'll remember, the first year George and I went to the mYak retreat, this will be our 3rd retreat. The first year I went, Marina lives in Germany. She's a lovely knitwear designer, and she's born and raised in Greece. And then she, I think, went to college or traveled to Spain for a while. There she met her husband. He's German. So they ended up living now in Germany. And she speaks so many languages. I'm like just in awe of her. And she's just, I mean, gorgeous. I also love, she has usually flaming red dyed hair. You know me, I love dyed hair, even though I've given it up. So I love that. But I just love her energy. And when she found out 3 years ago that George and I were going to be up in the Dolomites, she and her husband booked a room in the hotel and drove down so that we could meet. So anyway, I love Marina Storm. And she designed this Triana, I always say Triana, very American, Triana cardigan. And I just love it. I can't even remember what yarn it's knitted in, but you can go to my Ravelry and see it. And at Pick Up Every Stitch, they gifted me this beautiful little flower button. I don't know if you can see it, but that's what I use for the one button. And I'm going to leave it open now because it's warm, but I just absolutely love it. It's so lightweight and summery. So that's what I'm wearing. Anyway, let's get into my stash. So let's start with that list, right? I can't remember. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think there were 15 sweater quantities of yarn matched to patterns on that list. And of the 15, I have already knitted 9 of them. That's pretty good, isn't it? So the first one I knitted on the list, I think, was Here Comes the Sun. Oh, yes. So I did promise to knit them in that order. And that was the first one, was Here Comes the Sun, which I love. That was designed by Olga Pitano, I'm pretty sure. I'm just not even going to say because I don't want to mess up. And then the Decision cardigan, which I absolutely love. It's a very detailed cable cardigan that was designed by Anka Strick. I remember that. Then I knitted the Weekender. I think that's Andrea Mowry. The Lunenburg, that's Amy Christoffers. Hey, I'm remembering these pretty well because they're not written down. Soldatna. Ugh, I should know who designed that. It's so famous. I love my Soldatna. Coffee Bean cardigan. Samling. Wait, did I knit Samling? Oh, I don't think I knitted Samling. Oops. Or did I? No, I can't remember. Anyway, Light, which was that gorgeous Georgia Farrell design in Rowan yarns. Oh my goodness, one of my favorites. And I have swatched, no, I've started Amelia, and that is what is on the mannequin right there right now. So did I do Samling? No, I can't remember. You know what? I can't even look it up on my phone. So it's funny. I don't even remember what Samling was. You know what? If I turned around and looked at my swatch board, by the way, I don't know if you can see much of it. We'll get a picture of it. My swatches hang on a bulletin board above my stash, and every single swatch, well, if you can see them more closely, maybe I'll try to get a close-up picture. The swatches with stitch markers still in them, ooh, except the orange. It's so funny. Usually the stitch markers are in them if I haven't knit the sweater yet or the garment. If the stitch markers are removed, I have knit it. So every single one back there with no stitch markers, I'm looking at my computer screen because it's over there too. I've knit them, and it's just such a fun memory board for myself. And so if I turned around and looked, I might see the swatch and go, oh yeah, that's Samling. It's just weird that I can't remember what it looks like right now. Anyway, doesn't matter. Okay. So those are on the list. And then the ones I have not knit are Hen Knit. That's HEN-KNIT. It's a stranded colorwork sweater, really graphic, love it. Bambara is kind of a very casual V-neck, kind of like a sweatshirty design that I got the pattern from La Droguerie when I was in Bordeaux. And so it's a pattern designed by them, and I bought gorgeous yarn from there to knit that. I did swatch for that, by the way. Stella is a beautiful design by, I think her name is Jen Paracchini. Love that. Haven't swatched for it. Lane's Island is a big, huge, oversized striped sweater and very boxy, drop shoulder, I think. And I bought mYak yarn for that. Haven't knit that or swatched for it. And then Sion, Sian, is another gorgeous stranded colorwork sweater that I have not swatched or knit. I do still want to knit all of them, just sometimes I'm not in the mood for stranded colorwork, or I'm not in the mood for a big, huge, ginormous sweater of stockinette stitch. You know me, I've kind of been on this intarsia kick right now. So anyway, at this point, I'm no longer knitting those in order. I'm basically knitting what I feel like knitting, and I will finish them, I promise. And if I don't, I'll let you know. Anyway, so that's the list. Now that you all know where I stand with the list. So what I did want to talk about, though, is what's in my stash right now, because since I reorganized I redecorated, I made this old bedroom into my literally dream home office, craft room, and YouTube studio. And I just feel so relaxed and at home and comfortable here. I really love it. Just being able to sit next to all my yarn or look at all my yarn, pull a project out really quickly. For instance, I knew that I had in my stash the pattern Bonnie and Clyde by Isabel Kramer and some mYak yarn to go with it. And Isabel will be at the mYak retreat in 2 weeks. So I decided I'm knitting some other thing right now that's super complicated, super fun, but super complicated. So I wanted something simple for the airplane. And then if I finish it in time, something small, I can wear it at the retreat. So Bonnie and Clyde are these matching scarves, matching but completely different scarves. And so I knew I had that in my stash. I pulled it out, I think 2 days ago, cast on, and I'm just having so much fun knitting that right now. But anyway, as for the rest of the stash, I made a spreadsheet because I love to do stuff like that. Please drop a comment below if you like to do spreadsheets of your stash. I don't think many people do, but I do. I just like to know what I have. And in my stash, in my spreadsheet, I have yarn and pattern match for one baby blanket, which, by the way, as you know from my last baby blanket, I don't feel the need to have it done by the time the baby's born. I just don't. I just don't. So this baby blanket is for we kind of call little Kiki my other grandchild, our other grandchild, because his father has lived with us on and off since he was a teenager. He's like a son to us. He's my son from another mother, and he and his girlfriend had a baby last year. So Kiki will be 1 in September, and I have not knit his baby blanket yet. But you know what? He'll have it for his entire life. He will. By the way, that reminds me, one of my favorite baby gifts from Uptown Artworks. Okay, I didn't even know I was going to talk about this, but the best baby gift ever. I started getting them for my grandchildren. Uptown Artworks, I'll put a link down in the description. They create these pillows. Their most famous thing, I think, is a birth pillow. So once the baby's born, I get the information from the parents, what they want on the pillow. And I send every single like close family member or friend, including Kiki, a birth pillow. So as soon as the baby's born, I get all information, the name, the parents' names, where the baby was born, the date, weight, and length. And so the baby blanket isn't done by the time they're born, but just a few weeks after the birth, they get this birth pillow. And then, all my grandchildren, it still sits on their bed or in their room somewhere. And they never have to ask mommy, how much did I weigh when I was born? Or anything like that. It's really cool. It's a great gift. So anyway, I highly recommend Uptown Artworks. Again, didn't know I was going to talk about that. So anyway, in my stash is one baby blanket, which I will have finished by the baby's birthday in September. One capelet. I got this yarn at Westport Yarns, which now has a different name. I can't remember, in Connecticut. I saw this little capelet. You know me, I'm sold by samples. Really, if I'm in a store and I see a sample or at an event and I see the sample and I fall in love with that design because I've seen it in person, I can touch it, I can touch the yarn, that sells me. So I saw this little capelet in the shop, fell in love with it. Do I wear capelets? No, but I'm obsessed and I want to knit it, and I will. And then I can just give it to someone if I decide Maybe I could give it away on here. Who knows? 4 of those projects are cardigans. One of them is a children's cardigan. It's going to be a custom designed by me. I don't know if I've talked about it. I don't want to talk about it now, but anyway, 2 plus, I'm going to say 2 plus hats, 2 hat patterns. One of the hat patterns is an Oslo hat, but I have tons of quantities to make tons of Oslo hats. So anyway, mitts. Last year I made these Giant's Causeway fingerless mitts, and I fell so in love with the pattern and the yarn that I bought a bunch more of the yarn. So when it gets into the fall, I'm probably going to knit more of those. So I have 1 pattern of mitts with tons of yarn. Okay, this is where it gets really intense and fun. I have 22 sweaters quantities for pullovers. 2 of those are for children, and I don't even know what children I'll knit them for, but I fell in love with the samples. One is a unicorn sweater that I saw at Pick Up Every Stitch that I fell in love with. Oh, and another one is another child's sweater, teeny tiny for a baby girl that I fell in love with, that I just bought the yarn. And so someday when someone has a little baby girl, I'm going to knit them this beautiful little sweater. And then for the rest of it, 3 shawls, 1 skirt, 2 tops, and tops are like tank tops, short sleeve summer tops, and 3 vests. And that in total is 40 projects. Oh my goodness, that's a lot. So yeah, I could not buy yarn for the next at least 3 years and just knit away, but that won't happen. I'll still buy yarn. Anyway, so what I really wanted to talk about was which of those 40 projects I really want to knit next. And we're not going to talk about the list because unfortunately, I don't think any of these are from the list. No, they're not. They're new-ish acquisitions. So let's see. So I did say that on the list though is the Amelia. Amelia was I think the first one, the first sweaters quantity of yarn I bought. It was right at the beginning of COVID. I wanted to be able to support Pick Up Every Stitch. You couldn't go and shop. So I've talked about this before. I would send them, email them the pattern I wanted to knit, ask Felicia to pick out yarn, and then I would drive over there. I'd wear my mask, sit in my car. She'd come out in her mask and bring me different options for yarn, and then I would pick one, pay for it, and leave. And so this was the first one. I learned about the pattern. Andrea on Fruity Knitting made one once for herself and her daughter, and I just fell in love with it. And so just somewhat recently, it was either late last year or earlier this year, I decided to pull that yarn out and cast it on. And I have done the front and the back. It's knit flat. It's called Amelia by Alix Pangeli, and she knit it, she designed it for Rowan. I chose to make mine in the Fiber Co. Acadia, and sadly, the Fiber Co. has gone out of business. Oh, by the way, I did talk about this once because I was worried I was going to run out of Acadia, and so many of you helped me find more yarn, gave me suggestions. There were stores that still had Acadia in this color. I think this is the muscle color, but I actually did. I ripped out my swatch, which made me sad, especially because it turned out I probably didn't need to. I do not like to play yarn chicken. So I ripped out my swatch and I was able to finish the front and the back with the yarn that I had. Woo! Thank goodness. And now I just have to make the sleeves. The sleeves are going to be kind of in a greenish yellow color. So when I'm finished with all the other projects I've bumped in front of it, I will do that. Maybe this summer when I'm in Canada on vacation. Let's see what else. Oh, I also, just so you know, back there, is it back there? Behind my emotional support chicken is the top secret test knit that I cannot wait until I can reveal it to you. And I think I can reveal it in July. Anyway, I can't wait to reveal that. I had to hide it. I had to like fold it inside out so that you can't see what it is. So let me go on to the projects that I absolutely, totally, and completely want to knit next. Which order do I want to do it in? I'll do my newest acquisition first. Okay. I go to a lot of mYak events, Brooklyn General events, La Bienna May events. I love all the other events too, but I love the smaller feel of those events. Sometimes in the big events, I can get really, really overwhelmed and I end up buying nothing because it's just too much to choose from, too many options, and there's so much to look at. I don't want to stop in one booth and think about what to buy when I want to look at everything. Anyway, so somewhat recently, I once again saw a picture of Aimée. This is a really horrible printed picture. I saw a picture of Aimée Gilles in her Paul Klee sweater, and this is designed by Midori Hirose. And ever since it was designed, I've absolutely loved this design. But I tend to not knit things when they're like new or like everybody's knitting them. I kind of like to wait. Even when I go to events, I don't like to wear the newest in sweater. That's just me. That's just me. But I absolutely love, love, love the Paul Klee. And so recently I decided to buy a kit from La Bien Aimée. This is the fall jewel tone kit, and that's what I bought, but I bought a different base color. And so I definitely want to knit that, and these are my yarns. Let's see. Oh, let me show the base color. This is the base color I chose. It's their Helix base, and this is French gray. Oh, love it. It's so gorgeous. It's 75% Falkland merino and 25% Gotland wool. So it's so soft. I love it so much. I love my stash. And then the fall jewel tone kit. So what you do with the La Bien Aimée Paul Klee kit is you buy a yoke kit and then you buy a separate quantity of yarn for the rest of the sweater. But this is it. Oh my goodness, look at those jewel tones. I mean, just having this yarn makes me want to dye my hair one of these colors. I could choose any of these and dye my hair again. I just think it's, except green. I don't dye my hair green or yellow, but look at those colors. They're just so gorgeous. So that's the Paul Klee. That's really high up on the list, as you can imagine, because it's just so gorgeous. Okay, so Paul Klee, that's way up there. Next in order, oh gosh, this is really, really hard. Let's see. These are the two. They're both cardigans. I've really decided I'm more of a cardigan person. I love a good pullover, but I love a great cardigan. So these are my two. They're kind of tied. Powdermill, maple. Powdermill, maple. Oh, can you hear? Listen. Oh, my grandchildren are here. They're here with their new stepdad. I asked today what they call him. They call him Dadu. It's so cute. But anyway, so if you hear them, they were playing outside in the yard. I told them, because they had moved out last year, I reminded them today, you know, they get off at the bus stop still at the end of my road, and I said, come over anytime, swing on the rope swing, play in the yard, build a fire in the fire pit. So anyway, if you could hear them, they were just outside. I think they're probably getting ready to leave. Anyway, so we were deciding which one is higher on the list. Powdermill, maple. Powdermill, maple. So maple, let's start with maple. Maple is a Marie Wallin design. Of course, you know, I love Marie Wallin, although I've only knit one of her designs. But I saw a woman years ago at New York Sheep and Wool wearing, it can't have been that long ago. Let's see, this was copyrighted in 2014. It wasn't that long ago. It had to be before, oh, I don't know. Maybe it was after COVID. Maybe it was 2021. I think it might have been 2021. But I saw a woman who was wearing this, and I literally, Jonna and I were eating lunch. We were sitting on those benches. If you've been to New York Sheep and Wool, there's those benches on that whole strip where all the food vendors are. We were sitting on a bench, and this woman was walking by, and I literally threw my food down on the bench and ran over. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. What are you wearing? And she was wearing this. And I think she even had knit it in the original colorway. It was just, whoa. I was amazed. I mean, look at it. It's so gorgeous. And I actually bought, I'm going to leave these in the Ziploc bags. I'm so sorry. I did buy, it was designed, it was before Marie Wallin went out on her own. Now, she was still with Rowan when she designed it. But I got Rowan felted tweed. I hope you can see it. It's not too glary. But I got the exact kit right here. And I have so much left over from my Orkney cardigan that I had made that even if I got short on something, I can use that. And you can see on my Ziploc bags, I try to squeeze out as much air as possible, and then I write on it what project it's for, Rowan felted tweed, what kind of yarn, and then in each bag, like this says, I have 16 balls, and in this bag are 6 out of the 16. And then this bag are 6 out of the 16. So wait, 6 and 6 is 12. Where are the other 4? I guess they must be on that shelf back there somewhere. Oh, and by the way, I didn't tell you that then they're organized on the shelf alphabetically by pattern name. So Amelia here, the sleeve yarn is still in the stash, and alphabetically it's the first one. So it's that, I don't know if you can see it, it's the green yarn over there on the edge. So from Amelia all the way to the end of my list, I don't think is it alphabetical on this list? I don't know, let's see. Let's take a peek. Yes, it is. So the last is Velocore, which was I think it's like a vest type of a design by Andrea Mowry, yes, and I had a couple years ago gotten Green Mountain Spinnery fingering for that, and so that's the last one down here in one of the last cubbies. But all in between, then it's alphabetical by pattern name. And then the last 2 cubbies actually are yarn that's unmatched to patterns. Either someone gifted me yarn. Actually, the woman who introduced Jonna and I, Jonna and me, Jonna and I, Jonna and me, introduced, I don't know, what's correct? Anyway, my brain is not working right now. But she was going to London, and she went to Loop London and bought me some yarn there. And so I still don't know. I think it's the Rerum Natura Gilead or Gilead. I don't know how to say it. So I have to figure out what to knit with that. But anyway, so there's 2 cubbies with unmatched yarn to patterns, but the rest of it is all matched. And it just makes me so crazy happy. I can't even tell you. Because this yarn was down in my room, like in a storage ottoman, in a storage bench, in my closet, in like cubbies. It was all over the place. And so now when I moved up here, I just went through my room with a fine-tooth comb and brought it all up here. I have to say, though, there's none of my mohair is up here unless it's already matched for a project. I have all my spare mohair downstairs. And also, I have a whole small plastic bin of hat patterns and hat yarns and pom-poms. And I still haven't moved that up here. So I have to figure out where to put that. But anyway, boy, do I get off track a lot, don't I? Anyway, so maple is way high on the list. That has to be in the next couple of projects that I cast on maple. And by the way, if I've already knit a Maria Wallin pattern in Rowan Felted Tweed, do I need to swatch again? Because my swatch, it's my glorious Colorworks swatch up there. I have to see if it's the same needle size. I might not have to swatch again. Who knows? But maybe my tension changed based on the stress level of my life these days, or my arthritis in my hands. Who knows? I don't officially have arthritis, but you know, I'm that age. So the other one, Powdermill. I just, at one point, there's certain designers, and I don't even want to start naming all of them, these classic designers that at some point in my life, I want to knit a Cape Facet. At some point in my life, I wanted to knit a Kate Davies. A Martin Story. I really want to find the perfect Martin Story sweater to knit for my husband. There's certain designers that I've heard of that I want to knit their designs. And so one day I became obsessed with finding a Kate Davies design that I wanted to knit. And this is it, Powdermill. I mean, and just look at her and look at her gorgeous short hair. I love short hair. I want to be her. I want to meet her. But anyway, so I bought yarn. I think I bought it at Pick Up Every Stitch. And I chose to buy Le Petit Lambswool by Bûches. And this is not all the yarn. Obviously, I left most of it in the shelves. But even though, and yeah, most of them are in these twisted hank shape. But the purple is in this bullet skein shape. I don't know why. They changed their shape. But these are the colors. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my goodness. I love them so much. So it kind of has a primary, oops, one of the labels fell out. It kind of has the primary color scheme going on, which she kind of did. And then the white, like to pop of white, and then the purple. Hers had like an army green as, I don't know if it's kind of like the main color in a way. It's in the, yeah, it's one of the main motifs and in the ribbing. So I decided to do purple, but I can't wait to do this one. I think this might be my next. Really, I've been dreaming of this one. Maybe I'll bring this one to, how many projects will I bring to Canada? Maybe I'll bring this one to Canada to get started. I don't know, but I love that. I love that design. And then I'm really only going to share, oh gosh, two more. This one, I don't even have the yarn for yet, but I did like put in a request to order it because a knit along is coming up. It's not my knit along. It's a mYak Olga Pitano knit along. And when I was at A Time to Remember in January, Olga was wearing this jacket. It's called the Olga jacket or Olga's jacket. And Olga was wearing it even though she hadn't published it yet. And it is so amazing. It's knit kind of in these triangles. I don't want to open the pattern to reveal it to you, but it's knit in these triangles and somehow it all comes together. It's garter stitch, which, hey, that's easy. But I decided I wanted to join the knit along. I'm not going to cast on when it starts. I'll eventually knit it this summer. It would be great to wear to Rhinebeck. So this might be a kind of a fad sweater or a new, everybody's going to make one sweater that I might make when everyone's making it and wear it in Rhinebeck. But I just think it's so amazing and graphic and beautiful. So I went on the mYak website and I chose one of the bundles. And I chose, I can't remember which one I chose, but I did change one color out. It had like a pale pink and I wanted it more of like an orangey color. But as soon as I get the yarn, believe me, you'll know. So I'm going to add this in, Olga's jacket. And I think the first knit along Zoom or whatever it is this Thursday, like in 2 days. It'll be before this video even airs. But anyway, so I just threw that in. But okay, the next one that I absolutely want to do is a skirt. I've never knit a skirt before. Have you knit a skirt? I saw this a few years ago. The Espace Tricot owners were wearing, it's by Stephanie Earp. I saw her and I don't remember the other woman's name, wearing them. And it's this beautiful stranded colorwork skirt. And I absolutely love it. I've always loved it. I'm a little intimidated by knitting a skirt, really about getting it to fit. So I'm not intimidated about knitting. Actually, that's another thing. I just posted on Instagram recently about something I've been thinking about a lot. And I want to talk about it more. And I'm just going to call it fearless knitting. And I wrote on Instagram that I feel like I've always been blessed to kind of be a fearless knitter. I see a design I want and I buy the yarn and I cast on and I learn whatever I need to learn to knit that object, that design, because I want it, and I finish it because I want the object. And I know though a lot of people, we get a lot of comments, people have knit a lot of scarves and hats. Not that there's anything wrong with scarves and hats. They're amazing, but they haven't knit themselves a sweater. I mean, if you don't want to, that's fine. But if you want to, I say, let's be fearless knitters, you know? And I did Google fearless knitting, and it turns out that there was a book published a while ago. It's back there by Jen Seifert. I think that's how you say it, Seifert or Seifert, called Fearless Knitting. And I did Google about copyright issues if I use the phrase fearless knitting. And supposedly they don't do copyrights on common phrases, like knitting is common, obviously, fearless, it's so general. And I think you can't even copyright a title of a book. Obviously, everything in the book is copyrighted, absolutely. But so I can use the phrase fearless knitting, but I did buy the book and I'm going to read it because I would love to reference it. She probably has many of the same ideas that I have. But anyway, I really want to encourage everybody to knit fearlessly, one stitch at a time. It isn't rocket science. But anyway, I like I said, I am intimidated. I usually don't have fear of knitting. In this case, I have fear of it fitting. It's a lot of knitting and I want it to fit. So I did buy yarn a couple years ago at Rhinebeck. Again, I'm going to leave this in the Ziplocs. I bought Ewetopia Ridge Sport. I looked around at a lot of different booths and so many have gorgeous bright colors. And I bought way too many colors because I don't really know exactly. Let's see how many colors are in this. I think I have to count them. It doesn't just say. Anyway, these are kind of more my neutral colors, if you can see them. And then I have these for my pops of color. So I have to say I'm a little intimidated also with matching the colors and figuring out which colors, matching them and figuring out which colors to use where. But I'll figure it out. It's not the knitting that intimidates me. It's more of the, in this case, getting ready to knit. Also with the fit, like I really need to make sure that I'm measuring myself appropriately, figure out how much ease I want in the skirt. Yeah, so anyway, I'm really excited about it. I think originally when I got the yarn 2 years ago. I think I originally, you know, maybe even announced, I want to knit this by Rhinebeck 2025. Well, that didn't happen. So I think it might not be done by this Rhinebeck, but it's definitely, as you can tell, high on my list. So yeah, I think that's it. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about my stash? I don't think so. So there, you asked for it, you got it. It's so funny. That reminds me of this movie. What was that movie called? I don't know. Where the grandfather keeps saying, "You asked for it, you got it, Toyota." French Kiss. I think it was French Kiss. Anyway, I love that movie. So you asked for it, you got it. Now you know the state of that list, although I still don't remember what Samling is. What sweater Samling is. Let me turn around and look at my swatch board. Samling, where are you? Samling. Huh. I don't know. Huh. Oh, you know what Samling might have been? Samling was the, oh yes, that was the cable cardigan that I made. Yes. So that was done. Anyway, took me a while to figure that. I think that was Sorry Nordland. Yeah, okay. Now I remember, oh yes, it was a V-neck pullover and I converted it into a cardigan. So anyway, where is that sweater? I haven't worn that in a while. Anyway, so yeah, that's the state of the list and I will finish knitting them. And that's an introduction to my stash. And I absolutely, as all of us do, love my stash. And by the way, as I finish this out, I just want to encourage you, if you ever hear that Hohi Locatelli is doing a class about, I mean, I don't know what she calls it, about stash, about your stash. Oh, yarn is falling. She did a class at the mYak retreat 2 years ago about her stash, about organizing her stash, loving her stash, being proud of her stash. It's a tool, something that we use to create. You would never expect a carpenter to not have tools in the garage. And you would never expect an artist to not have paints and canvases around the house for the next project. So often we talk about our stash like it's hidden, we have to hide it, or we're ashamed of it. But Hohi's like, no, this is your medium. This is how you create your works of art. Be proud of it, love it, display it, enjoy it, look at it. And I think she also encouraged us to categorize it. Like I did an Excel spreadsheet. Of course, Ravelry has the option where you can put your stash in Ravelry. I chose not to do that. But know what you have. Know what you can pull out at a minute's notice and knit something. I think that's so amazing and nothing to be ashamed of. Anyway, so I think that's all I wanted to talk about. Thank you so much for hanging out here the whole time with me. And hopefully the next video you see, Jonna will be sitting right next to me, not just in the flat format like she is back here. Actually, let me grab her while I'm saying goodbye. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye! How can I talk so much? Was that okay?
Yeah, good.
Oh gosh.
Right, should I cut?
Yeah.